Hello and welcome back to the podcast Tits, Tea and Trauma with me, Neve. In today's episode, I'm going to be telling you all about my crazy 3 weeks in London and how it ended up being the best 3 weeks ever. I'm going to be telling you all about how I was basically in a theatre kids version of Love Island, how I maybe acquired a stalker and a boyfriend, and also how I nearly went about getting stabbed in the middle of London. So yeah, today is gonna be a juicy episode. However, I just want to quickly say, please remember, if you're listening on Spotify, you can rate the podcast at the end of the episode or during. I don't actually know when it is. If you're watching on YouTube, then please remember to subscribe and like the video, and most importantly, I really appreciate it when people share my clips on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and, tell the world all about it. So my TikTok is Tits Tea Trauma Podcast and my Instagram is Tits Tea Trauma with 2 A's at the end. And I just want to say thank you to all the people that have commented and messaged and things like that, and I've had a couple of messages of people asking whether they can send requests for topics, and yes, you can. So if that's something that you want to do, then head over to the Instagram Tits Tea Trauma and just send me a DM, and yeah, I will talk about what you want me to talk about if I have something relevant to say, which I always do because I can't shut the fuck up. So yeah, anyway, this is gonna be a juicy freaking episode, so let's go. Hey guys, how are we? It's been a while since I've sat in front of this microphone and camera, let me tell you. It's not been a while for you guys because I pre-recorded loads of episodes before I went away to London, but during London I did not shoot anything, and for the last month I've also not recorded anything, so I'm a little bit nervous and I feel a little bit rusty, but you're not going to be able to tell, so it's okay. I'm going to make sure that you can't tell because we've got a lot to get into this episode. So as I said at the start, this one is going to be all about how I lived in London for 3 weeks and sort of everything that went down. And initially I feel like I mentioned in a couple of podcasts before that I was going to London and why I was, so basically I'll explain that to start. So basically, how many times do I need to fucking say that? Honestly, use your fucking words, bitch. And why am I nervous? Why am I getting nervous in front of you guys? I'm stumbling on my words. Anyways, so I basically got accepted into the National Youth Theatre Epic Stages summer course. So if you don't know what the National Youth Theatre is, it's a theatre company and they work with youths. But yeah, so it's a theatre company and they are based in London primarily, and they obviously do shows and stuff, and loads of good actors were a part of the National Youth Theatre, and it's just a really great inclusive community to be a part of. And that's basically why I was in London, because I was doing one of their intake courses. So basically, if you want to become a member of the National Youth Theatre, you've got to audition for one of their courses, do the course, complete the course, and then you're a member of the theatre company and you can apply for roles and jobs within the company. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really know the crack with NYT. That's the abbreviation of it, if you didn't know, if you weren't part of the club. But I didn't really know too much about NYT before I applied. I knew it was a thing, I was aware of it, and I saw a ad on Instagram, auditions, and so I just applied for the Manchester in-person audition and did it and got a place, which I honestly did not expect because they get quite a lot of applicants, and I'm just little old me, what do you mean? So, and I to be fair, I also didn't realise how good it was to even got a place until I sort of got there, and they sort of mentioned how many people applied and stuff like that, so that's kind of fun. But yeah, so I was basically going to have to leave my life and job in Manchester for a few weeks and go move to London and do this course. And I'm not going to lie, it wasn't cheap, okay? I was lucky enough to get a little bit of help with the funding for the actual course, but obviously needing I'd need accommodation in London as well because I cannot commute from fucking Manchester. So I ended up staying in their like halls of residence that they like rent out, and then you can live like with other people on your course. And yeah, that was not cheap. It was like for 3 weeks it was like 800 and something pounds, which is like crazy. I don't even know why I'm telling you all this. I mean, maybe in case you're interested, because to be honest, when I went into it, I kind of thought, right, like I said, I didn't really think or deep too much about the whole thing before I went, because one, I didn't think that I'd actually get on, and then like I like to go into things with like no expectations because I don't want to end up disappointed. But to be honest, like I was actually really like unsure about going, because obviously I'm paying 800 odd quid for this accommodation in London, plus the like course fee, and you know, that's a lot of money. You're coming out of work, so I wasn't working at the time. Luckily I had like a lot of holiday pay that needed to be taken up in August, so I was sort of getting paid what my usual wage would have been for not working, so that was great. But I was like really nervous to go into it because it's like 3 weeks away and you're living with people on the course, like in like student halls, and we got like a letter of like rules before we went. And I know this is so petty, but for me, one of the main rule on it was that you have to be in the accommodation in bed by 10 p.m. So I saw that and I thought, that's not gonna be me, girl. I'm going to London. I'm paying 800 fucking pounds to live in London. You want me to be in bed at 10 p.m? No fucking way. Because I have 2 friends that live there, Beth and Nicole, as well. And like obviously we wanted to see each other, and we'd planned like a night out to this like queer cowboy themed night, where I will give you all the gossip to that in a little bit. So I was kind of like, fuck, like, am I gonna get there and everyone's gonna be like dead like studious and like not want to like socialize and not want to drink, and not that that's important, but like not want to like, you know, have fun. And I couldn't have been more fucking wrong, let me tell you. But that was what I was going into thinking, so I was really nervous in a way, because like that would just depress me, honestly. Like obviously I was there to, you know, gain experience for my career and for the course and things like that, but something that is really big for me, and I think it comes from like my trauma and grief and all that kind of thing, is like my experiences and my relationships with other people. So the biggest thing for me is I wanted to come and I wanted to connect with people and make friends and have fun and make memories, and tell you that we fucking did. And also I wanted some content for the podcast. Like, I'm going away for 3 weeks. I didn't want to come back and be like, oh yeah, I've got nothing to fucking say because I was in bed at 10 p.m. every day like a good little girl, and I made no friends and I had no experiences. But I digress. It wasn't like that at all. So let's just get into it from like the first day. Let's give you the full rundown. Okay, so I know it's hot, yeah. We're going down to London, it's hot. No more rain, no more grey skies, no more Manchester blues weather, okay? We're getting on the train with my suitcase that I cannot literally lift up. I am betting on some nice Cockney bloke to lift this up the stairs when I get there, because I'm getting like a train from Manchester to Euston. Then I have to get like the tube to Waterloo, and then from Waterloo to Sidcup, because basically, oh, again, we were living in like a place called Sidcup, which is like very, very southeast, basically on the border of Kent. So I'm like, fuck, like I'm just gonna be in this like weird little village suburb thing, and there's gonna be nothing to do, and no one's gonna want to come to the pub with me, and even if I do go to the pub, it's gonna be so expensive because we're in London. Let me fucking tell you, I've got some great news for you if you're also worried about that. So yeah, whatever, get off the train, and here's a little bit of tea, yeah. I fancied one of the boys that did my audition, and I was like, if I get in and I see him, woo! And he was the first person that I saw when I got there, and he took me to my flat, and I was like, oh hey, how you doing? Spoiler alert, he isn't the one that's ended up being my boyfriend. Never spoke to him again, but that's fine. I just thought that was quite funny that he was literally the first person that I saw. Like, manifest it, girl. nearly. And yeah, so I get taken up to the accom. The room is actually dead nice, like not dead nice, it's like a student accommodation, but it's really big. It's an ensuite, it's a double bed, and I'm like, do you know what? With me and my OCD, I love moving or being in a new place because every like compulsion that I have and routine that I've created has to go because I'm in a new space. And the way student accommodation is set out is just like so perfectly organized. You've got your bed, you've got your desk, you've got your cupboard, you've got your toilet, and that someone with OCD just really simplifies it for me because like I have so many issues with like leaving rooms a certain amount of time. You know, I've got rules about, you know, just go and watch my OCD podcast after this if you wish to know more details about that. But yeah, I was like, okay, this feels really refreshing. And also, I've not been in student accommodation in about 6 or 7 years, so it feels really like weird and nostalgic and nice, and just like, I don't know why I found it so sort of comforting and refreshing. I should have found it rotten because it's literally student halls. But anyways, and so I've not, like, I unpack all my shit. I've not seen anyone yet. I'm like, I'll like get my unpacking and stuff done before I bother like trying to like talk to anyone. And I also don't think anyone else is in the flat, just because I won't be able to give people my full attention if I've got like something else on my mind. So anyways, why am I'm going to be sat here for hours at this rate. So anyway, I go into the kitchen at some point and I meet my first flatmate, and it is the beloved Quentin. Love him. And, you know, I can't remember our conversation, but we hit it off straight away, and now we love each other. So yeah. Anyway, so I meet Quentin, and then I also meet another person in my flat as well. Should I say? Yeah, you won't care. I meet Quentin and another boy in my flat, and we're having a little conversation, and not long into that conversation, someone mentions the three letters everyone wants to hear. Pub. So I'm like, okay, great, we've broke the ice, and I say how I was scared that everyone would be boring and no one would want to go for a drink, and they like also felt this way. So I'm filled with relief because I at least have two people who want to go to the pub, and go to the pub we do. And we go to like this like local, to be fair, literally in every pub we went in there was like the same carbon copy of like a Cockney bald man. Like, I'm shocked we didn't get hate crimed because I'm gay and Quentin is trans and bisexual, like, and yeah, anyways. So we go into this pub and we get 3 Guinnesses because we've all just connected on the fact that we also have Irish heritage, and, you know, we're those annoying English people that think we're fucking Irish just because we have Irish grandparents or parents or whatever. So we get a Guinness, and I see the price of this wee Guinness, and I cannot tell you the elation when I see that it's £4 for a pint of Guinness in London. So I think I can get used to this. We go around the back, beer garden, huge, stunning. We think this is the best it can get. It's not. Anyway, obviously, we call it an early night, and we go to bed because the next day is our first day of class, and class starts at 10, which is kind of chilling because if class starts at 9, I am a zombie. I am not present. Like, I cannot get up that early. But it started at 10. It's like 10 till 6, but sometimes we finished earlier and stuff like that. And, you know, we got to be well rested. So anyways, I set my alarm. In fact, no, this is what happened to me. So it's the first fucking night and my phone speaker breaks. So I've got no way to set an alarm, so I've got to trust dear Quentin to wake me up in the morning. So then, because, like, I had the anxiety of, like, not having an alarm, I couldn't fucking sleep, and also it was really hot, especially in those accommodation rooms. So then, for basically the whole first week, because on the first few days until I got my new phone, my body clock got so used to waking me up, I'm not even joking, every half an hour to check what time it was. That whole week, like, and pretty much the whole time, my sleeping schedule was fucked. That might have been also something to do with going to the pub every night, but let's not talk about that. So yeah, luckily Quentin did wake me up, and I fucking woke up anyway, obviously, on the before that time, because I was like anxious as fuck that I wasn't going to get up and I was going to like miss the first day. And you know what, it was so weird because I am not someone who can get up early. Like this morning I set my alarm for 10, got up around 10:30, and I was cream crackered knackered, okay? Like, but for some reason, when I was in this magical place of Sidcup, this magical place of National Youth Theatre, this magical bubble that we were all in for these 3 weeks, I was getting up like it was fucking Christmas every morning. I was buzzing. It's actually so sad. Like, I realised that, like, I'm not necessarily not a morning person. I just don't enjoy my mornings. And when I have something to look forward to, I can get up. But no, I was literally like a kid on Christmas, like every day, because I was so excited to spend time with these people, because, spoiler alert, I had the best group ever. So anyways, yeah, we go to class, whatever, and I don't know how much to go into the whole class of it all, because I've got a lot of other stuff to talk about, and I feel like most people that listen to the podcast won't be interested in, like, National Youth Theatre. But, like, just to say, like, I went into it thinking that everyone would be, like, drama school, RADA graduates, whatever. So many people, it was their first time doing acting, and so many people, and so if you're, like, if acting is something that interests you but you don't really know where to start and you're like over 21, then honestly look into it, because there were so many people that this was going to be their first time on stage, because basically the whole 3 weeks you work on like devising a show from scratch. So you're given a theme. Our theme was the future of AI. Also, that's another reason that I was kind of unsure about it, because I don't give a fuck about AI. Like, that's not what interests me in life. Like, I just didn't really give a fuck about it. And then, yeah, you make basically a show about that topic, and then everyone shows the show to all the other groups, because I think there was about 5 groups. We were group 2, big up. And then you also can show it to, like, your parents, family, the general public as well on, like, the last day. And, like, we had to do a little bit of prep before this first lesson. You had to, like, bring something or write something about that topic. I wrote, like, a poem about, like, human nature and how an AI can never, like, this is so boring, how an AI can never really replicate or, like, copy us or, like, take over us, because they fundamentally don't have human nature. I fucking had a dream the other night about robots taking over, like, and I see AI everywhere now. Like, I went from not trying to avoid it and not giving a fuck about it to it's fucking following me everywhere. Anyway, we met the group, and I cannot tell you how awestruck I am by this group of people that I was thrust into. Crazy. Love you all. I will thrust into you all. Oh my god, I'm speechless. It was the most, like, beautiful group. Everyone was from different backgrounds, different parts of the country, different parts of the world, different, like, religions, ethnicities. Like, it was just, we all had so many differences, and yet we all came together and we all absolutely loved each other and loved spending time with each other. And there was not one person in the whole group that sort of ruined the vibe. Like, we genuinely, it was honestly so beautiful to just gain, like, 29 or whatever new friends. This is so cringe, and I feel like no one who is listening who wasn't there, like, understands, but fuck, like, I love them so much. And, like, that love was, like, because we were all going through, it was sort of like a transformative experience in a way. Like, we were all in this, like, bubble, and even though we were just in London, it was so weird. Like, you actually just felt like you were in, like, the campus was gorgeous. Like, we'd sit every lunchtime by the lake and listen to Oni's playlist. Big up Oni, because she provided the music, she provided the vibes. Without her, we wouldn't be half of what we were. And it was just so fun and just so, like, it's honestly the happiest I've ever been, I think. And with that came a lot of, like, problems as well that I'll get into because I don't know. But yeah, anyway, we did that first day of class, and again, thank the Lord of seeing bloody sky. Everyone was down to go to the pub after for a drink, and we went to the local pub. I think it's called like Ye Old Black Horse, and we sat in their beer garden because the weather was gorgeous pretty much the whole time we were there, and all the other groups came as well. And we literally had to put like 6 like benches just for our group, and we pretty much went to the pub every single night to like debrief and get to know each other. And there's just something so unique and beautiful about actors and actor friends, because you are made to be so vulnerable in class or in the show or whatever project you're doing, so you get so close so quickly. And that's why it literally felt like fucking Love Island. Like, this was an analogy that one of the boys used, shout out Tom, and he literally couldn't be more right. One, everyone was so stunning. It was literally like they handpicked us as, like, not me being that I'm so stunning, but everyone else was so stunning and like just such a personality and had their own style. And like, I was talking to one of the, like, I'm not even joking, if you'd left me there another 3 weeks, I probably would have had a crush on every single person separately, because like everyone just was so beautiful, had something about them. And we were all spending literally from like 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. because we go pub 6 days a week together. So like, you're getting really close with people, you're building relationships, and we all just like fucking, I'm literally making it sound like we all had an orgy. We didn't, but like, we just became best friends. But yeah, I was on to Naz, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, we were chatting, and like, he was like, yeah, like, I literally find like everyone attractive, like I find something so attractive about everyone. And I was like, no, yeah, literally, like, it's just so amazing to be around such like beautiful fucking people. Yeah, I need a wee. And you know, I know that a few people had a few crushes, and like, we also didn't just live with our group, so we lived with people from other groups. So there was like 6 people in my flat, and you know, and I may have had a few crushes of my own, but I'll get into that a bit later. So anyways, on that first Thursday, I had planned to go see my friends Beth and Nicole, my little lesbians who I mentioned before, because we were going to this like cowboy themed queer night, lesbian night, basically. Well, it's not strictly lesbian night. It's mainly the girlies there, the queer girlies, and I found that because I think it was up in Haringey in East or North. That's North, I think. I found it because Amy Spalding from I Kissed a Girl basically promoted it, and as 90% of the queer women population, if Amy Spalding says jump, I say how high. So we went to that, and it was honestly so fun. Again, it was like they play, like, everyone like wears their little, so basically I had the cutest little get up, so I bedazzled my own like tube top that said cowgirl for cowgirl, you know, instead of like femme for femme. And then I wore like a little mini skirt. You can see the outfit actually on their Instagram, or on my Instagram. But I was literally so excited because we booked the tickets like a month before. Like, if you do want to go, I think it's called Bonanza, and they're on Instagram. Look it up because they sell out because it's only a really small venue and it's so popular because it's sick. So me, Beth and Nicole went to that, and it's so good. Like, they have like acts on, and we were screaming Pink Pony Club at the top of our lungs, and I may have had a little love affair whilst I was in there. So if you know me, you know that I'm a sucker for some Irish people. I just like the accent. I don't care whereabouts, I fucking love it. Alright, and my friend Nicole, she's Irish, so it's not relevant. I just have to add that into every conversation ever. She's the reason I fucking do a Northern Irish accent all the time. It's her fault, blame her. She encourages me. It's just how we communicate sometimes. Anyway, so me and Nicole are in the smoking area, and this girl like looks at me and is like, oh, love your top, and I'm like, oh, thanks, like, and I go around like, thanks, and then I hear that she's Irish, so I bring her over to Nicole and we all start chatting. Anyways, obviously Beth and Nicole are together, so they're like encouraging me to get with some ladies because they're good friends and that. So I think this girl's chatting to me because she's like into me or whatever, and she's like pretty. she's so much taller than me, and I'm not usually, I don't know, she's not 100% my type, okay? She's so pretty, and she's Irish. So she's Irish, remember that. She's from Cork as well. So I'm there like, yeah, fair enough. And I wanted to like make friends, so I didn't really 100% click whether or not she was sort of like flirting with me, but I wanted to make queer friends in London because I do want to move to London. Anyway, so we go back inside and Beth and Nicole leave me to get a drink, and they're literally a meter away from me, but I literally, oh my god, I've decided in my head, like, I don't really want to kiss this girl, like, she's not 100% my type, and, like, I don't know, like, it's just, I'm not drunk either, because I've got to get the last train back from North fucking London all the way to South East London, like, I've got a trek ahead of me, and I'm also up early because I've got class the next day, so I've genuinely had like one drink, so I'm pretty sober because I can't handle hangovers and the class is too important to be hungover for. And she's like getting close to me and she's flirting with me and stuff, and I'm like, haha, yeah, I've got myself in this now, like I've pulled this girl away from her friends for too long. She thinks that like this is happening, and then she has a hat on that says kiss me, so she puts the hat on me and I'm like, oh no, how am I gonna get out of this one? And she goes, oh, like look at what the hat says, and then I'm like, okay, that was so smooth, so obviously it says kiss me, I'll just give her a kiss, only a little peck, okay? But after that, oh my god, I feel mean. But after that, she like got me to feel her abs, like got my hand and like stroked down her torso, and that was I thought, you know what, that train home's starting to look good, darling, because I weren't into that. No. I don't know why it gave me the ick so bad, but I went over to like Nicole and Beth and I was like, I kissed her and she made me feel her abs, and they were like, oh, what the fuck, that is a bit weird. So yeah, I sidestepped my way out of Bonanza and I got the train home, and then like I really wanted to go out on that first Saturday because we have Sundays off at NYT, so Saturday night out, but like again, because we lived so far away from central London, people weren't feeling the idea of that weekend like going out because of like getting Ubers and back and stuff, no matter how hard I tried to persuade everyone. So instead we went to the pub as usual, and then I wanted to party, okay? I wanted to make the most of our time at NYT. Bear in mind, like, we weren't allowed flat parties, they were like forbidden, so everything that I'm about to say is allegedly. So allegedly we had in our flat a little flat get together, and it was just so fun and nice. Like, it was kind of stressful because it was so fucking hot in there, and there was quite a few people because obviously like we are such like everyone in the group gets along, so it was just like anyone from the group can come, and then also my flatmates have their groups there, so it wasn't anything too crazy. But it was just so fun to kind of feel like a fucking, like, uni student again. It was so fun to have, like, a flat party and, like, go down and, like, smoke your cigs down at the front, because obviously you can't smoke inside, and, like, go past security did not give a fuck. Them men were asleep half the time, which was banging, because they obviously didn't care that, like, what we were up to, or we didn't get any complaints either, so like noise complaints or anything like that. To be fair, I feel like half the accommodation was empty, so there was probably no one below us, and also I think like deep down, like, the organisers didn't care as long as you weren't taking the piss, because like we're all adults at the end of the day and we all want a drink and we all want to celebrate, and we're all paying 800 odd quid to stay in this accommodation, so if I want to have a couple of friends around, allegedly I might do it. Allegedly not me. Allegedly I wasn't involved. I was asleep. But yeah, that was fun. But I really want to tell you about this like stalker situation, but I can't, because like it's not a stalker situation, but it was basically someone, there's only so much, like, I can't, because like I don't ever want them to listen to it. And like, but it's honestly, and it would honestly take its own fucking podcast. It'd be like a Tana Mojo-esque story time. But like I said, I got along with everyone other than one person who literally was everyone's op. And oh my god, I can't say anymore because I just feel so tight, because like, yeah, but basically I had someone who I thought was alright at first, and like I wanted to help and stuff like that, and then I slowly started to realise I shouldn't have got myself into that, and I'm not even joking, I don't think I could have handled being there oh god, that's horrible. Anyways, moving on. I'm sorry. I'd love to be like, I'm giving you all the gossip. I'll give you all the boyfriend gossip. I'll give you all the night out gossip, but I can't give you that gossip. And I'm sorry. I used it as clickbait. I know. Sue me. If that was the reason you clicked. Stay tuned. Stay followed. Stay subscribed, because at some point I will dedicate a time to that story. But it's just too intense and too. It's just too much right now. Okay, not for me, but like just to like publicly speak about someone like that. Anyway, fast forward to like a couple of weeks, like 2 weeks in or whatever, we're coming up to like the second weekend. We're all blissfully in love with each other, and you know what's really good about NYT is that they have a wellbeing team who were amazing. So they had one like therapist, like counsellor, and then another girl who was also like a wellbeing support worker. And at first I was like, oh, like I don't really feel like I need them, like I was just having such a good fucking time. But then like I started to struggle with the fact that I was so happy, because when I get happy I think that things bad are gonna happen. Great English, but you know what I mean. And also like my BPD was starting to like get activated, because if you don't know what that is, borderline personality disorder. I can't really go into what that is right now, we'll be here for days, but yeah, because of like having really intense like relationships, and I was starting to like rely on these people not for happiness, but I was worried that I was. Obviously, evidently, like because I think spoke to wellbeing, because I'm really proud of myself actually, because I did start to have those worries, and I nipped them in the bud, and I did not become dependent on anyone. Maybe one person. We'll get into that, don't you worry, I'm just teasing you. We'll get into it. And it was mutual, like we all loved spending time with each other and stuff. Oh my god, this is literally 40 minutes so far of me shagging these people, because they're the best. But yeah, there was this wellbeing team, and I was like, oh, I kind of don't really know if I need to like access their help. Also at this time, I do want to like touch on the fact that this was the time when like the race riots were going on in the UK, and it was like, obviously I'm fucking white, okay, and I am not affected directly at all by what was going on, and I cannot even begin to understand if I felt affected and if I felt upset, how people who were directly affected, people of colour, felt. Like I can't even begin to articulate that. And I do want to touch on it, even though it's like it's been a couple of weeks now, because they're still fucking out there with those beliefs, and it could fucking happen again. But it was really, obviously, like I said, there was a lot of people. It was probably the first time. I come from a very, very white town, and you know, pretty much all my friends growing up were white, and you weren't really exposed to, you know, what the effects of racism and things like that can do to people, because you're just not around it unless you actively go out and, you know, educate yourself, which we should all fucking do. But seeing how those riots were affecting people who I was spending every day with, along with people who were my friends who weren't living in London but were affected in their respective areas, it was so upsetting and frustrating. And I just want to, like, if you share any of those horrible, bigoted, racist views, then shut the fuck up, get off my podcast. Like, I don't even want, like, I just piss off. I don't want to associate with you, and I don't want you to associate with me, because it sounds so ignorant, but it was just like, I'd like to think that I am quite you know, aware socially and aware of my privilege as a white person. But again, it was really like sort of eye-opening to see how that really affects people. And it was scary because, you know, people were scared. I was scared. Like, I was worried, not for me, obviously, but I was worried for, like, my friends who had to travel back into central London, or my friends who were up north where it was quite bad. Like, I'm not being very articulate when I discuss this, but I just sort of wanted to bring it up and just sort of acknowledge that, because it did sort of affect us because we were living in such a bubble. And then it was like, holy fuck, like, you go on your phone and it was horrendous. Like, and it was harrowing to see. And again, I just want to reiterate, harrowing to see is nothing compared to how harrowing and difficult it must be to experience it, or to be scared of experiencing it. So I just, like, if you're listening to this and you are white, or like you aren't directly affected by stuff like that, then make sure that we need to make sure that we keep educated and we don't let that fucking happen again, because what the fuck was that? And we've not, like, it will happen again, because that's insane that many people. But the thing is, like, there was, like, counter protests and, like, people came out in way bigger numbers. It's just fucking disgusting that these absolute gimps think like that. Like, there's things that I would love to do, but I cannot say publicly, because just fuck them. But yeah, obviously that was something that I think started to affect people a little bit, and again started to affect me. Like, it did, like, upset me. So then I was like, and then that, like, alongside, like, the BPD stuff, alongside feeling fucking happy, like, it was all just quite intense. And then someone that I went to college with actually passed away whilst I was at NYT, and we weren't, like, friends, we weren't, like, close friends, we just worked together in the past. And but finding that out I was like, oh, this is affecting me. Again, it's hard to speak about because it's not my shit, because they had so many friends and their family, like, but it did affect me, because it was, obviously, it's just, like, horrible. Like, it triggers my grief. I'm more susceptible to feelings of grief and empathy, because I just, like, cannot imagine how his parents and, like, his close friends must have been feeling. Like, it was such a shock. I don't know the situation at all, so I don't know if it was a shock to them, but to me it was a shock. And I'm obviously not going to say who or anything, because it's, again, not my shit, but to me he was just, like, such, like, a fucking bright light, and, like, with such a huge impact on the world, and, like, just such a positive energy. And for that to, and, like, he, like, from what I could tell, like, he was working his arse off. He worked so hard. He was so successful in what he was doing, always. Even back in college, it was like, how are you doing this, man? Like, you're just incredible and just so determined. And it was just such a shock. And so I was like, okay, that was, like, the thing that made me think, right, what's the harm in getting some free counselling right now? So yeah, I spoke to the counsellor, had a little counselling session, and I also later in the week spoke to the other person on the wellbeing team just about, like, my BPD and stuff, when that was kind of getting a little bit mixed up. And yeah, it just helped so much. So again, NYT, fucking brilliant. Like, it was literally incredible. You had all these friends, we had picnics by the lake, and you had fucking therapy on tap. Like, what? It was just so good. And, like, you could leave, like, the sessions if you were feeling overwhelmed, or if you needed a wee. There was, like, no judgment, like, during that time. Oh, and also, yeah, so I've touched on my experience being in a terrorist attack before. Basically, my friend was meant to be going to the Taylor Swift concert and in Vienna, I think, and it got called off because there was gonna be a terrorist attack. So then that fucked me up. So that's when I spoke to the second wellbeing team, because, like, I, like, woke up, like, I found that out as I was going to sleep, and then I woke up the next morning and I just was, like, so disassociated and then I had a panic attack. Which doesn't really happen to me often. Like, I actually couldn't go into class because, like, I was having a panic attack. But the support was there and the judgment was not there. Like, if people were judging, you wouldn't know about it. Like, it was just so good. Anyway, so that Saturday we did go out, thank fuck. Beautiful, and it was incredible. You know, let me fucking tell you this. So obviously, like, I'm a fashionista. Everyone knows. I love my clothes. But obviously I couldn't bring all my accessories and all my fucking full wardrobe and stuff to London with me. So, like, I was limited on my accessory outfit choice. And I literally, not even joking, I never do this, but I had 3 fucking people sat in my room helping me decide what to wear the night before. And then, even then, I was like, right, on this lunch break, me and my flatmate Ellie, we're gonna go to the charity shops and we're gonna buy some stuff. I bought some really cute earrings. Credit to Ellie, because she was like, get them. And I was unsure, and oh my god, they are sick, and I literally wear them all the time now. And I got a tie just in case I wanted to do a little neck moment, decided against that. And anyways, you don't give a fuck, but it was literally like being in Wild Child. We were like in the fucking, like, buying sunglasses, like trying shit on, like in these charity shops in this little like fucking suburb. It was so fun. And now I am gonna give you a little bit of tea, a little bit of gossip. Something pissed me right off. So I'm really, really not feeling great about my outfit, and it's the Saturday now, and like, I'm getting ready and stuff, and you know, I've still not 100% got my outfit together, but I'm wearing my outfit, yeah, and I'm getting ready in my room, and someone comes into my room and like asks me like my opinion on what they should wear, and then they look at me and they go, what are you wearing? And I go, oh, this, and they go, is that it? I had to keep my fucking cool, because I was already on the brink of like extinction, because I was like, I cannot go out in London without looking my fucking best. I refuse, especially with all these people, all these beautiful people. And it was so funny because we were doing prees at Oni's, because Oni wasn't living on the campus, and we were meant to, like, I think we were meant to be at prees for like 7. Anyways, it's near enough 8 o'clock. Even when we get to Oni's, I think we've got to leave because of how long it takes to get to Central, because we're going to Shoreditch. Where did we go? Oh, I'll figure that out in a sec. Anyway, to get to Central to Shoreditch, like, it takes like a while, so we were gonna have to leave at like 9ish. Anyways, we're meant to leave at whatever time, and it's fucking nearly 8 o'clock, and I get a call off the other fashionista of the group, beautiful Maz, and she rings me and she's like, I'm stressed because I don't like have all my outfits and accessories. And I'm like, girl, I'm in the same fucking boat. At this point, every single other motherfucker has been at the prees for over an hour. They're steaming. And yeah, so I'm like, come to my room, you can come try my shit on. And it was just such a girlhood moment for me, and it was also such a compliment, because if you're listening to this, Maz, I love your outfits and I love your style. And anyways, I ended up cutting up an old fishnet top into fishnet gloves, and I'm so fucking glad. I trusted my gut and I trusted my instincts, and I did it, because as soon as I was at the bar, like, I think some girl like touched my fishnet. She was like, oh, I love your fishnet. I was like, thanks, just cut him myself. And I got so many compliments on the gloves. So big fashion brain. Anyways, that pissed me the fuck off. So yeah, we get to the prees, we're fashionably late, obviously, and everyone already been there for like over an hour, so they're already steaming, and I'm literally fucking sober, which is my own fault, but whatever. Anyways, so I'm not going to give too much details of this, because, like, obviously I respect the person and it's just like tight. But basically, see, it's literally like Love Island. Tell me why when I got to the prees. And I'm only saying this, like, because I just want to analyse my fucking reaction to someone telling me that they fancy me. Basically, someone pulled me and said that they fancy me, essentially. And tell me why. I was just like, ha ha ha, allow it. But first of all, allow it, bitch. Where are you from? You're from fucking Blackpool, not South London. Shut the fuck up. And, like, the laugh and everything, oh my god, I just didn't know how to, like, compute that. I was like, are you actually having me on? Like, is this a prank? Because bear in mind, like, the person who it is, stunning, beautiful, amazing. Like, actually, like, what am I thinking not, like, taking him up on the offer? Do you know what I mean? And literally everyone was like, oh my god, you're insane. Like, what are you doing? Because he is literally so beautiful. And Yeah, but like chats were being pulled, people were fancying each other, and to be fair, I thought way more would go down. Like I feel like I don't know. So anyway, yeah, that was a nice little confidence boost to start the night, I suppose. Although like kind of I don't know, it wasn't awkward, but it was just like now like how do I act with you because I don't know, we're fine now. It's no biggie. But yeah, so let me get into the rest of this night because it was so much fun and so dramatic, but so like undramatic. Like you'd think. Because literally, basically, pretty much everyone came. So there was like 20 odd like people that we had to navigate, getting us all from southeast London to Shoreditch when we're all drunk, and like get us into the club and everything. So I remember where we were going now. We were going to the Queen of Hoxton. So we like ferried everyone onto the train, and me being me, the second I stepped foot on that platform, I needed to piss, and I am not good when I need a wee. Like it's like literally everyone's gonna know about it, the whole world is crashing down in front of me, I'm in pain, I can't think about anything else. So that whole journey to, I think we went to Waterloo, was funny. Waterloo, haha, funny, was actually painful, and I felt so left out because everyone was like taking pictures and having fun, and I physically couldn't get off my seat for fear that I would literally have wee dripping down my legs. And it was so funny because me and another boy, Arthur, he also really needed a wee, so like as soon as the train stopped, the two of us fucking legged it. And I'm so shocked that we managed to like all keep like tabs on each other. Like it was like being on a school trip, like we were all like waiting outside the toilet because obviously everyone else needed a wee as well. Like doing a head count and stuff like that. It was so cute. But anyway, we went to Queen of Hoxton. I can't lie, I've been there before and it was okay. Like it was pretty good. Like it was so shit. It was actually shit. Like tell me why they were playing like the fucking, I know they were playing something shit. Like there's like three, is it? No, I think there's 2 floors. There's like the main floor and then there's the underneath floor, and then there's the smoking area upstairs, which I've got beef with that smoking area I'll go on about in a sec. But like, yeah, the music was just like dead. Like it was just so, like when I last went, the music, I remember it being like UK like rap, UK grime, which is like I can vibe with that. Whereas this was just like, it was actually like just shitty club music. Like it just wasn't what I wanted. It was like giving Blackpool or giving, I don't know. And then like tell me why I went downstairs and they were playing like the fucking, I can't remember what it was. It was like Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay, one of them or something like that. And I was like, this is not for me. Like I'd have to be so drunk to enjoy this. Like it's funny, yeah, but like I wasn't feeling the funny vibes. I wanted to sing my little heart out and have a little dance. And yet tell me why the smoking area is like, I'd sooner walk up the Eiffel Tower, alright? It's like fucking 5 flights up. Like it's actually horrible. Like if you want to deter people from smoking, maybe Keir Starmer, that's because he wants to ban smoking, that's how you do it. Because how the hell do you get up there? Like it was actually painful, and it's so funny because like you're drunk as well. Like how are you ever getting back down, babe? Like I remember, okay, so this is where things get juicy. So we sort of planned to stay in Queen of Hoxton and then go to Metropolis because a couple of the other groups were going to Metropolis. So the groups that were out of us, it was our group 1 and then a couple. We're not group 1. It was us as group 2, and then a couple of people from group 3 met us because my flatmate was in group 3, so I got them, like we met up, and then their plan was to go to Metropolis, and I wanted to do that as well, like change of scene, new club, especially because I wasn't really enjoying Queen of Hoxton, and I think Metropolis was more like techno, like dance music, and I feel like that's kind of my ideal night out, is like prees, like play game, maybe play a bit of pool, whatever, and then go to a club where you like can like sing and stuff, and then go somewhere with like more like dancey, like heavier, like jungle, drum and bass. I'll take techno maybe if it's funky, if it's good, that kind of thing. So their group decides that they're gonna go to Metropolis, and I'm fully game, and a lot of people in my group are kind of like dwindling. They're like very, very fucking drunk, and I'm the one that I now want, because I still want all the people from my group to come with us to Metropolis, like, so I'm like, wait guys, like to the other group, can you just wait and I'll go and get the rest of the group? Tell me why they're on this fucking smoking area. So I've got to walk all the way up there just to get them, and I get up there and they're all like lying on the floor because they're drunk, and I'm like, oi, get the fuck up guys, we're going to another club. And then I start getting pissed off, alright, because these lot, they're taking their fucking time. Some of them are so drunk, they're not getting to the next club sort of thing. But it's like pissing me off because it's just like I'm trying to rally like fucking 20 odd people but I know full well that they're waiting for me down there, and I obviously don't want them to go without me because I actually don't even know where Metropolis is. Like, I'm for once not the one on the maps. I'm just trying to rally the masses, yeah. And they all start moaning like, oh, I don't want to go somewhere else. And I'm like, well, okay, go home then, because I want to go. And I get them all outside, and I'm like, right, we're going Metropolis, and some of them are like, oh, I don't want to, and I'm like, come on, like, where else are you gonna go? Like, we're all going together. And I'm like, they're walking to the bus stop now, I'm walking with them, so we're coming. And at that point, for some reason, I get vexed so easily sometimes, especially when I've had a drink, and like I just want to like move forward with a plan. So like I'm not drunk enough to be like rolling on the floor. Like, I'm fully aware of like my surroundings and the fact that I want to go dance, okay, and the fact that I look this good, and it was not giving in Queen of Hoxton. I wanted to go somewhere where I matched the energy and I could give, because I was giving and she wasn't, you know? So then I just sort of like walk away from them, and then one girl, Charlotte, love her, from my group also like walks with me, and I'm like, oh, they're pissing me off, like I'm ranting, and this poor other group probably think I'm such a bitch because I'm just like, oh, they're pissing me off so much, like what are they doing, like just either come or not. So I just say to them, look, this is where we're going, come to the bus stop, whatever. So anyway, we get to the bus stop, like me and this other group and then Charlotte, and I'm just like having a little rant to Charlotte and just being like, oh, I'm sorry, like I got angry, and she was like saying that no, like she understands, she's just like less vocal about it than me. And I was like, yeah, that's the BPD, love. I hear like a commotion behind me, not really a commotion, in fact I don't even think I heard anything, but I did hear someone say, touch me again and I'll fucking kill you, right? So who it is that's with me, there's a couple of people from the other, in fact most of the people there are from the other group, and then there's Charlotte from my group and a couple of other people from my group who, you know, have made it to the bus stop, including Quentin and a couple of other people. So, but I'm stood away with Charlotte, and they're like all stood like near the actual bus stop. So then I hear this, like I hear like a bit of a thingy, and then touch me again and I'll fucking kill you. And I hear Quentin, obviously I turn around at this as I hear like Quentin say like, you touched me or something, and I can turn around and I see these two little dossers, yeah? I'll actually scrap him again, me. These two little dossers, like, they've evidently pushed through past Quentin and past, like, the rest of the people in my group, because there is quite a lot of us, fair enough, like, on that side of the bus stop, like, we're in the way of the pavement, but, you know, excuse me, won't go and miss you, weirdo. So I turn around, like, thinking, like, what's going on here? Like, my instincts are activated, my mother bear instincts, my fight or flight, I'm a fighter, you know what I mean? Well, I'm not a fighter, but, like, I instantly go into, like, defense mode. PTSD. So I see these like two, and I see they're like squaring up to Quentin, and I'm thinking, not my Quentin, not my sweet little Quentin, no way. So I like, and like with Quentin being a boy as well, I thought, right, no, because personally I have noticed like I've had a success rate with it, and I just figure that because like, I'm a girl and I'm quite a short, small girl, and men, when they are faced with another man, like, think, like, they square up, they get violent, they want to start, like, hitting people and that, but then, because of deep-rooted misogyny, when they see a girl, they either just, like, they try and get with you, like, they don't, like, threaten you, like, in the same way, basically, and it's easier to, like, diffuse the situation, whereas they find another man, like, fucking, I don't know. Whereas with a man, they try and instigate it further into violence, and obviously that's not foolproof, but that is generally, like, what I tend to do in, like, confrontational situations. So I, like, get in front of these two, and, like, between Quentin and everyone else and them, and then I can't remember if they already said, I was just kind of like, what are you doing? Like, we're not trying to fight you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's just happened, but I know for a fact that they're not trying to fight, so I'm just sort of like, we're not trying to fight you. And then one of my, like, male friends stands up next to me, and I loved it, because, shout out to him, because he, like, yeah, he got up to be there and defend me, but it wasn't in, like, a it was definitely not in a confrontational way, and it was not in a way as to, like, you know, be like, oh, she's a girl, I've got to defend her. He very much, like, gave me my space. But again, proving my fucking point, as soon as he got up, this guy's, like, direction of where he was putting his, like, attitude completely on him, and became more, like, aggressive and, like, violent-esque. So I'm like, so they're like, oh yeah, you're trying to fight or something like that, and I'm like, no, we're not, babe. Like, we're literally a bunch of theatre kids. We're not trying to fucking fight you in the middle of London, you weirdo. And so then he starts, like, trying to square up to my mate who's, like, stood up next to me, and I'm like saying to his other mate who's kind of, like, backing off, like, it is just all this one guy. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, sort your mate out. And he's like, oh, I don't control my mate. I'm like, well, you kind of can. So, like, what are you doing? You're just going to stand there like a melon while your mate, like, fucking... There's about 20 of us. If he does do anything, good fucking luck, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's so funny. But anyway, so my friend is trying to, like... We're both trying to, like, diffuse the situation using words. And neither of us are going to fucking be violent at all, obviously. Very much against that. And so I think my friend's trying to, like... For some reason, he asked him what kind of sport he's into or something. He's trying to, like, steer the conversation onto something irrelevant rather than him, like, threatening to, like, kill us, basically. And, like, this guy just turns around and he goes, yeah, my favourite thing to do is stab people. Okay. So I, like, look him up and down, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way he's fitting a knife in them skinny jeans. They are way too tight. But obviously, I don't say anything smart like that because genuinely, like, I am just trying to, like, I don't want any of us to be in this situation, because especially now that my friend stood up, because if he does do anything to him, it's kind of my fault for, like, getting in the way sort of thing. Like, so I but in my head, I'm like, yeah, fucking shut the fuck up. And also part of me is like, he could, like, why the fuck would you say that? Like, and he kept being like, yeah, fucking love, like, knifing people and that. So at that point, I'm like, what are you saying? You're going to stab us? Something like, I say something, or one of us says something like that, and his mate pipes up and goes, whoa, who said they're going to stab someone? And I went, your mate. And his mate was obviously like, I was like, yeah, fuck off, your mate. So clearly he's just being Billy Big Bollocks. Can you fuck off and leave us alone? Like, we don't want to fight you. Certainly don't want to fucking start whipping the knives about like we're fucking in Romeo and Juliet. Do you know what I mean? So they start walking away, thank God, and then I, like, slowly, like, follow them, like very far behind, obviously, just because I'm, like, now on edge thinking, if I turn around and we all turn our backs, is he gonna, like, run and, like, stab us, or, like, do you know what I mean? He's clearly a weirdo, and he just comes out to fight people, which actually the worst kind of person. And if you do, like, grow the fuck up. Like, it's so fucking dangerous. Like, one wrong punch and you could literally kill someone. It's insane. I really, really don't understand it. But yeah, so he starts walking away, and I think also one of, like, my friends has stood with me as well. I think it might have been Charlotte. Anyway, so they're, like, backing off, and he's, like, staring at me, and I can see his brain really, really trying to, like, say something, like, to come back or something, and his mate's trying to get him away, and he's just, like, walking away but squaring up at the same time, and I can just see his little tiny pea brain trying so hard to, like, find something offensive or triggering or something to say, and he just goes, that girl's got a belly, right? And I did have my belly out, and even if I did have, like, a big belly, don't fucking matter, but I don't. And I just thought, right, okay, there, you just, like, proved my whole theory. Like, as soon as you're a girl in that situation, they'll just be misogynistic towards you. They'll either try and hit on you, or they'll say something like that. Whereas if you're a guy with a guy, they'll just, like, try and get violent and try and act all big. It's so fucking toxic masculinity, and it's actually grim, and it just really pisses me off. Anyways, so they're, like, walking away, and then one of our group members, so I didn't know that round the corner down the road, the few people were at the takeaway, right? So I see this girl from our group run past these two, and I'm thinking, shit, like, where's she going on her own where they're walking? And so I'm like, oh fuck, and I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't So I think my friend does follow her, but I'm gonna be honest, I do not want to follow because this guy's like, he's still like trying to square up to me at a distance. And I'm still kind of edging towards though, because I'm like, oh my god, are they gonna turn the corner and like jump my friends who, like, I didn't know if the girl had known what the situation had just happened was. Like, I think she, like, I don't know, and I also was like, why are you running? Where are you going? Because I didn't know people were around the corner. And then I'm walking slowly like towards this road, but like not close enough to like be close to them because like I'm kind of like a bit scared. And they walk through this group of people and I'm like, oh fuck, there's loads of them. But then these people turn and they're like obviously trying to assess the situation because this guy's being a fucking weirdo, and like you can see that he's trying to like, I don't know what he's doing at this point. I'm just like, whatever, grow up. But they look at me and they're like, are you alright? And I'm like, yeah, like, he's just threatened to stab us. Like, he's just threatened to stab me, and my friend's just gone round the corner, so, like, I'm just, like, trying to get her, basically. So then we're like, oh, right, fuck, like, we'll walk around the corner, what a weirdo. So they walked me around the corner, and I saw that there was, like, a big group of us, and then that guy was literally stood right next to them, and I could see him looking at me, and, like, obviously now at this point, like, the initial adrenaline's worn off, my PTSD's set in, and when I get triggered, like, my PTSD, like, I'll get all on the defensive and fight like that, but once the situation dies down, I get, like, obviously a little bit on edge, and like I kind of get a bit like angry, so I'm like shouting at everyone like, can everyone get the fuck to the bus stop now? They probably thought I was crazy because obviously they don't know what's just happened, and also like we only know each other 2 weeks, why are you shouting at me? I was like, everyone, can you just go, like, because I obviously didn't want to say like in front of the guy that guy's like possibly got a knife, or that guy's like trying to start something, or that guy's, do you know what I mean? Because I don't want to start him again, so I'm just like, everybody, can you go to the bus stop now? And yeah, I was a bit triggered for a little bit, and then I got to Metropolis and I thought, oh, this is fucking sick. And yeah, fuck him. So I had a little boogie. Metropolis is sick, by the way. I think it's like a strip club or something, like the rest of the week, and then on Saturdays it's like a club. But it's like, it's actually so cool. It's like multiple floors. There's like an upstairs, like, that isn't huge, far away, like terrace where you can like smoke, and there's like a room with like sand, and there's like stripper poles and stuff, and like cool decorations, and I think the music was alright as well. Not me like itching my nose on camera. I kind of forgot I was on camera there. How embarrassing, eh? But yeah, that was my nice little London encounter. It wouldn't be London, would it, without a situation like that? Really adds the character to the city, doesn't it? Yeah. But other than that, it was a nice night. Uber was like a 50-minute drive home, and I successfully was not sick, because usually I get sick even when I've had just one drink. So I was really proud of myself for that. And yeah, only half of us made it to Metropolis. I don't know what the fuck. The rest of them decided to go home, and it ended up taking them hours to get home. So I don't know. Anyways, let's start moving on, because I know you're all sat there and you're like, boyfriend? You have a boyfriend? Just last week you were saying that you were a lesbian. Yeah, I know. We're gonna get to that soon. So basically, in fact, let's just get to it now. What are we waiting for? I've absolutely got nothing left to say. I've been talking at you for like an hour and a half already. So yeah, like I said, like, people be like fancying people and stuff, and I don't know, I didn't. So this boy who it is, he knows that I'm going to speak about him, okay, and I said that I like wouldn't say his name, not me literally going to air him out like this, crazy. So it's so funny because this particular boy, like, I just did not see him like this at all. Like, it sounds so nasty, but like I said, we used to go to the pub pretty much every day after rehearsals, and one of the times we were at the pub, he was like, I don't know, it sounds so weird, it wasn't as weird as it sounds, but he was like getting close to my face and like staring at me, like in an obvious, like on purpose, and then I was like doing it back, like, what are you doing, you freak, like stop looking at me. And then one of our friends was like, oh yeah, like go on, to the boy, and I was like, no, and I said to him, I was like, the only reason I'm this comfortable with you is because I don't see you like that at all, so don't get any ideas. And like, people would say to me like, oh, like, is there anything? I'd be like, no, what are you on about? And it genuinely wasn't. Oh my god, I missed this out actually. I got fucking horrendous food poisoning on the Monday after that night out from a Domino's. So, and I know for a fact it was a Domino's, even though they tell me that no one else got food poisoning, because it was the Sunday and I didn't eat anything else that day, because I love after I've had a drink, and it wasn't because I was hungover, because I wasn't hungover, because I didn't drink that much, okay? I love like a Domino's. I thought I'd treat myself to like a cheeky little Domino's. and literally I ate the Dominoes at like 6-7 p.m, and a few hours later it was hands and fucking knees, throwing up, shitting. It were horrible, and I had to miss like a day of rehearsals, which was shit because I got really bad FOMO. And then obviously I had to go in the day after and be like, sorry guys, can't move too quickly because liquid poo will come out of my arsehole. So fuck you, Domino's. Can never eat you again now because I've seen you in my toilet bowl. And to be fair, that order that I usually get does give me a tummy ache, but like just I think because of jalapenos. I used a jalapeno. Anyway, so back to boyfriend, who's not my boyfriend. So yeah, like I just didn't really see anything of it, and he was literally like one of the girls to me. Like, you know how I said there was those 3 people like helping me try on clothes. He was one of them because like I just didn't like. I don't know. We were just really comfortable. I was just really comfortable with him. I didn't really like. It was just like a friend. I don't know, and I genuinely don't know what changed. But basically, I feel like as actors, other actors may understand, but like you get really close to each other and you're just like naturally like touchy-feely with each other. So I was touchy-feely with like this said boy, like, but we all were with each other. But then I was like, in the last week I was kind of like, why do I sort of enjoy this? I don't know. And I thought, weird one. And there was a turning point because basically someone like gave me something, and so I FaceTimed him to tell him, and then I think we became like closer after that. No, I'm actually airing this out. I just want some gossip for the podcast, and I love like relationship gossip, so that's what's happening right now, but it's embarrassing. So we were leaving on the Saturday, and I think I sort of started to realise maybe, I don't know, did I, who knows, fancy him. On, like, I'd say, like, Thursday was when we went to the pub Thursday night, I was, like, kind of, like, wouldn't mind if he, like, came back to mine, not for anything naughty, but, like, just, you know, when you just realise that you don't want to leave someone's company. That was kind of how it was. And I was like, that's weird. That's strange for me, isn't it? Especially because this is a straight boy. Like, what is going on? So anyway, cut to the next day, it's show day, and that night we all plan on having some sort of shindig because it's all obviously last night. And so I'm kind of thinking, it's the last night. If nothing happens between us then, like, nothing's going to happen. So I think, like, tonight I'll just have the balls and just be like, oh, do you want to stay at mine? Again, not to do anything, okay? I'm not like that. Not that it's a problem if you are, I'm just a pussy-o. And also I don't really find men sexually attractive, unless like there's like emotions involved, I suppose. I don't really know what that is. That's another podcast anyway. So we have this huge flat party, allegedly. I was in my room when it got shut down. There was literally like probably like pretty much the whole course there, and it got shut down, and it was kind of a piss take, honestly. Like, I was literally hiding in my room. I'm not getting involved, do you know what I mean? Because literally like everyone from all different groups like congregated on our floor, like in our flat. So that kind of shut that down. So then it's basically a tradition to like go drink at the lake, and we decided not to do that because like midgies and like just like we just thought it'd be better to at least try and, you know, have like a gathering of some sort, and it just got like people, it just got a bit out of hand. So then we all went to this lake, and I'm like presuming that we'll probably leave together and it'll kind of be like a smooth way, like we'll just be able to ask the questions smoothly. Oh my god, let me tell you about this man. So when I went to have like a wee in a bush, and then I was telling Quentin about my confusing situation with this boy, and out from the bushes comes this like 50-odd-year-old man, and he's like, do you have any, I think he like said, do you have a lighter? And I was like, no, sorry bro, I've got a vape. Don't know why. Gave him some of my vape. He seemed like a nice guy. He called himself Martin, and we were like, Martin. He was like, no, Martin. And he was like, are you having a party, kids? Are you having a party? And we were like, no, not really, because obviously we were like, you fucking weirdo, like, you're a 50-year-old man. It was funny, like, you could tell he was harmless, but he was like, oh, I can get you some, I can call up if you let me join you, I can get you some drinks, get you some drugs, you know? We were like, no, like, we're fine, we've got enough drink, and, like, we don't do drugs or anything, like, go away. And then he walked up with us, and it was just so funny. He was, like, saying, oh, yeah, my son's asleep at home, and, like, I was just like, babe, go home to your little baby. And I told him that I was 15, and he was still like, oh yeah, I don't mind, it's just a party, like, nothing. I was like, oh, mate, read the fucking room. You think we're all fucking teenagers? Come on. Anyway, so that was I just wanted to tell you about Martin. What an icon. Man, the myth, the legend. He can get you drinks, he can get you drugs, but you can't read the room, so can't get a message. Oh my god, just really hurt my thumb. So yeah, but one of my friends wanted to leave, and so I wasn't gonna I didn't want to let her walk through the, like, field, obviously, on her own back to the accommodation, so me and this other person started walking her back, and I was like, do I go tell him? I was like, no, it's fine, like, we're gonna come back. That was our plan, to, like, pop back anyway. But then as we were walking, people saw us walking and were like, oh, where are you going? We were like, oh, just walking through her back. And then a few people followed, and then I kind of did, like, want to go home, because we did have to get up for class the next morning, and it was like 3:30 by this point, 3 o'clock-ish. So I'm like, we're walking, and I think a lot of people started coming. So then I asked one of the boys who was just with my boyfriend, who's not my boyfriend, I was like, oh, is so-and-so coming? And he was like, yeah, he's coming. So then I'm walking, and I'm looking behind, and there's no one else coming, and I'm like, right, so I think, right, do you know what, girl, just do it, just give him a ring him twice, no answer. So then after that, I'm like, do you know what, I'm not ringing him again, like, I'm trying not to be a fucking psycho, like, if he's obviously, like, having fun and not on his phone, fuck it, it's clearly not meant to be, do you know what I mean? So then I walk a bit back with Freya, because we go walk this other girl home who doesn't live in the accommodation, and I'm, like, also trying to hang back a bit just to see if he comes, because I've been told that they are coming, and I'm like, what are they doing? So annoying. Why aren't you thinking of me all the time? Why aren't you wondering where I am all the time? No, basically, so me and Freya got back to the accommodation, and I'm like, Freya, can I tell you something? She's like, what? I'm like, I was gonna ask Thingy to come to mine. She was like, what? I was like, yeah. She was like, oh no, that poor boy has missed out on the best night of his life. I was like, lol, yeah, funny. She was like, ring him. I was like, nah. She was like, message him. I was like, nah, I've already rang him. Like, it is what it is. I'm tired now, whatever. It's clearly not a thing. It's clearly not meant to be. So I'm all tucked up in my bed, and I'm about to put my head down to the pillow, and there's a knock on my door, and I'm like, oh fuck, it's my stalker. But I open the door, and your man's there, and also other friend Naz, and I'm like, oh, hello. So basically, how weird, his side of the story is that he was going up to his flat, and he remembered that someone had his jacket, so he was like, oh, that person usually hangs out in my flat or on my floor. So he, like, headed down to the floor and saw them coming into my flat, so followed them in to get the jacket, and then him and Naz both decided to, like, knock on just to see if I was awake. Anyway, he comes in my room, Naz goes for a wee elsewhere, and I'm like, he sits on my chair, and I'm like, come on, love, sit in bed. And Naz comes in, and Naz and this other girl are about to, like, leave to go to bed or whatever, and, like, they're like, oh, come on to the boy, and we're both like, haha. Like, neither of us are, like, moving. So then Naz goes, are you two fucking? Don't know why he's southern now. And we're like, no, just leave us alone. Like, because we're not at that point, in fact. Because we're not fucking. So, we haven't actually discussed anything either. Anyways, he does end up staying, and we stayed up all night and just talking. Okay, your mind just went to the gutter there, didn't it? We stayed up all night just talking, because I'm a good little, don't want to say good little girl, don't like that. But yeah, it was one of them ones where you're just chatting and you just don't sleep, and then we had to get up at fucking to be out of the accommodation at 9 a.m. So I had to get up at night, like, we literally got up at like 8:30. He went to sort his shit. I sorted mine. Luckily, I'd packed the night before because I knew that I would end up being out late. Didn't think I'd get no sleep though, but there we are. And yeah, that was the start of that. So I don't know, and then we've kind of kept talking. But yeah, I just thought I'd give you a little bit of gossip, give you a whole rundown on my magical 3 weeks at NYT, and definitely recommend it and look into it if you are interested in acting and any of that enticed you. Maybe don't go just because you want to find love or whatever. It's just so. So I then went and stayed for a couple of days in London at my friend Beth and Nicole's, who I mentioned before, the lesbians, and I tell you, they were not happy. They were like, you're telling me that you've gone away to a theatre camp and come back with a straight man. What about all the girls? I was like, I know, you're preaching to the choir, babe. I don't know what's going on. In fact, you all, if you listen to this, if you listen this far, comment down below something like, all men are the same, or something like, get your head out the gutter. What are you doing? Berate me. Shame me for being with a straight man. I'm not with anyone. But I just think it's so me-coded as well. Like, I'm literally going away to the other side of the fucking world in a month. Tell me why. I've been single over 2 years, literally happily single, like barely dated, nothing, being at peace with my friends, with my life, and then all of a sudden I'm booked to go away to the other side of the fucking world, and now I've got something. Like, what is that about? But anyways, but yeah, I also forgot my hyperfixation of the week. My hyperfixation this week is going to be the Kneecap movie. If you don't know who Kneecap are, they're like a fucking, why do I just say fucking? They're like a Northern Irish rap trio, and they're fucking incredible. And I saw the movie the other week, and it's fucking incredible. It's sort of like a half, I don't know how much of it's true, but fictionalized or dramatized version of their, like, how they came to be a band, and it's so fucking funny. It's like the right amount of like emotionally emotionally driven and like hilarious, and like also educational as well, because it's a lot about the fight for the Irish language to be recognised as a language in Ireland, and it's made me get back on wanting to learn Gaeilge, which is Irish, and it made me realise, like, if that is something that you guys are interested in, it's hard to, like, I think, find stuff to learn Gaeilge online, just because, I mean, it only recently got fucking recognised in a language in its own fucking mother country. So, but like in Manchester, there's like free volunteer groups who help you learn it, and I've not been to one because it's actually on Tuesdays, which is when my acting class is, and obviously I'm leaving Manchester soon, which is so gutting. Because Duolingo, it's just like doesn't cut it. But yeah, it's so important to keep that language alive because it sort of got pushed out of Irish people and the country. And yeah, it's just, they are such a good band, and their fucking music's sick, and what they stand for is sick. So if you're someone who believes in Irish independence and, you know, isn't afraid of like politically driven music, then give them a listen. They are really, really talented. And yeah, that's my hyperfixation of the week. Because I literally designed my own fucking kneecap. Get your Brits out t-shirt, and like started learning Gaeilge again. So yes. Anyways, I've been talking at you for a wee while now, and you've heard all the gossip. I really, really wanted to give you a full-blown episode of everything that went on, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were entertained. It's a bit more of a, like, I don't know, upbeat, positive episode than usual. Just a bit more, like, trivial, I suppose. But yeah, it's been fun, hasn't it? Just a little last reminder, if you could give this podcast a rate, or if you could share it with other people. Like I just said before, I'm going travelling in a month, which means I'm leaving my job in less than 2 weeks. Yes! So I'm gonna be putting my full bussy into the podcast, and that was horrible, into obviously arranging stuff for travelling, but I'm gonna keep doing this. hopefully whilst I'm away, like I've got a new laptop that I'm going to bring with me, so I'm going to keep you up to date with all my drama and all my travelling troubles and fun and all of that kind of stuff. So if that's interest to you, make sure you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, because I'm going to post, and on YouTube also. Even if you're watching on Spotify, head over to the YouTube for this. It's just my name, Neve Rock, because I'm gonna hopefully be posting like vlogs of my travelling as well, if you are interested, because obviously I can talk about stuff on the podcast but I can't show it. But anyway, yeah, please give it a like, share, subscribe, rate, follow me on socials and all that, because I want to get it out there, man. And you know, it's hard to push something when you don't have a platform, I suppose. But anyway, stop feeling fucking sorry for yourself, love. Thanks for listening, and yeah, go learn Irish.